H here. Good, it's you again. I'm chuffed to hear you are safe. I can't say I am in such good shape these days. Here is what I recently discovered. His name, Tim Hutch, 27. Tim was a regular guy, or so he wanted to seem. Time and day meant a lot to the aspirations of this young man, as did time and day mean a lot to the pack he ran within, and on it rested the fate of our world. Location, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Date, 2025. Oklahoma City, said to be the heart of the heartland and purportedly home of the American way of life and everything that means to us, as well as the regular slobs on the street and off-roads of this odd country. Tim Hutch was no different than most. He was a regular guy, and he liked to be the image of the American dream, which Oklahoma City embodied to those dreamers. Or perhaps propagandists pushing their indefinite and unspoken image of America onto a weary populace. Let's face it, all that matters nowadays to most people is fame or money. Or fame and money, or most importantly, money. And that's where Tim comes in. Because he secretly desired money more than anything. But if there's some fame to be gained in order to make more money, he'll take it. And you wouldn't sense it from his outward behavior or appearance. All you would notice is an odd quirk of his. His inability to keep from greeting people with a specific date and time when a simple hello would suffice. July 21st, 2031, 3 a.m., Tim would blurt out at every passerby. 2 fingers of his right hand saluting from the brim of his trucker cap into the wind. Usually people would just look askance at the fellow and go on their way. But it was probably a sign of mental peculiarity, they thought. Sometimes people he greeted that way would reply back in similar fashion, perhaps mocking his bizarre ritual. March 23rd, 2028, 1 p.m., one might be heard saying to Tim, giving him a knowing wink. Or perhaps November 27th, 2045, 7 a.m., another stranger might greet Tim back. Life is a game, isn't it? People would sometimes stop the lively lad and ask him what he thought he was doing. He'd shrug and say something about breaking with conventions, and then move on, repeating. July 21st, 2031, 3 a.m. It was so nerve-wracking to some that he lost friends and family over it. His mania for July 21st, 2031 at 3 a.m. began a cult in his immediate circle. Close acquaintances believed Tim knew something they didn't, something ominous that would transpire on July 21st, 2031 at 3 a.m. It was harmless, all fun and games to those around him. A lesser man would have been ruined by such a display of eccentricity. But Tim was an effortless pot of good luck and endless wealth. He lived carefree, despite not having a job, nor an inheritance, nor a trust fund. Tim was a mystery to those around him, indeed. Indeed. He floated free in a world of drudgery and toil. Whatever he desired, he got, sooner or later. On this particular day in 2025, I followed him into town where he continued greeting people with his standard ovations. July 21st, 2031, 3 a.m., he would say. He was unaware of my presence, being that I have some help of the ethereal agents to guide me in my endeavors and researches. Tim Hutch collided with a friend of some sort. An older man walking with a small girl of perhaps only 6 years old or so, wearing a sundress and partaking of a large multicolored lollipop. July 21st, 2031, 3 a.m., greeted Tim. August 19th, 2028, 5 p.m., replied the man as he ushered the girl before him into a large hall, a building of some sort with classical architecture and a paucity of windows. Tim followed. They donned black robes, black as soot. Attendants took the girl gently away to the side to escort her over a black and white checkerboard floor to a dais up ahead. "You know," Tim said to the man, "I have no idea why we say these dates, but they never cease to amuse me. Is that all I have to do to be free of poverty and task?" The old man went through a series of emotions, exhaling and inhaling through non-verbal expressions of mirth, disgust, anguish, and exhaustion, before giving a substantive reply. "The day and time," the aged comrade impressed on Tim. "Mark 1332. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." Tim sported a blank expression. The man realized it wasn't sinking in. Tim wasn't very bright, but eager and obedient, and that was all they needed in their group. Intelligence was of no matter. "As long as we all know a day and an hour that Jesus will return," the darkly robed man furthered, "he can never return, so is the promise of God, and so we can live on as rulers of this idiotic mob of sheep and wallow in the riches and flesh forever. Forever." They flooded into a group of 13 standing around an altar. "Well, that," the old man said, "and this." The girl that the older man had escorted into the building was produced from the side of the staged area, screaming and kicking while 4 men held her aloft, soon to place her on the altar. The lead member of their group produced a long, shiny knife and held it above the prone child, while others chanted an arcane spell meant to bring about their master. From behind the group, a living goat man with breasts emerged from the shadows. It had nice breasts and a winning smile as it goaded them on in approval. "Oh, yeah," Tim said as he watched the sacrifice proceed.
Like and subscribe before I die! And ring the little bell or you will surely go to hell.
Oh, we're telling spooky stories. This is not a spooky story. Oh, there's no way on the couch I can
it
sit.
depends how you look at it. It is kind of spooky.
I guess so.
Wait, that's it? That's the end of the story?
That is a